welcome back to a clean burning hiffle.
Masenko!
Oh god. Today we're gonna basically be doing what we did in the last one, but I think it's gonna go a lot quicker. We're gonna be talking about the movies today in our rankings. I don't have numbers next to them, so I'm just gonna run up the list. I feel like.
All right.
Yeah, the movies are weird because a lot of them try and retell arcs of the sagas.
Yeah.
But usually worse. Because it's so fast and sped through.
Pretty much, yeah.
There are some good movies. There are some ones I legitimately really love in here. But I would say probably no more than a third of them are like legitimately like good.
Yeah, I don't think.
But they're fun to watch.
Yeah, for me, I feel like they don't really get worth watching until like 5 or 6 for me. And there's 16 here, so.
Let me just do a quick look at how many, because I've got a couple listed that Kendall doesn't, because I included the specials in as well.
Yeah, I didn't.
I have 21. But I'm actually gonna start off with one that is a special. Episode of Bardock is really bad.
Is it?
I hate it. To be fair, I've only seen a fan translated version of it. But the voice acting was fine, so I don't know what would be wrong with it that wasn't wrong with the story. Basically, episode of Bardock is after Frieza uses the Death Ball on Planet Vegeta.
Oh, right,
Bardock goes
right.
back episode of Bardock, not Bardock, father of Goku.
Okay.
Yeah. Episode of Bardock, he goes back in time and becomes like the first Super Saiyan.
Right,
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate everything about that.
That is really
Bardock
bad.
is a cool character, but not that cool. Yeah. This was just because people looked at Bardock and was like, I like Bardock. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, Bardock, I'm going to make a really big sweeping statement here. I think Bardock might be the most overrated character in Dragon Ball.
Pretty far up there. It doesn't mean he's a bad character. It just means, he is overrated. Broly is another one that's up there. Though it's come down a lot.
Yeah.
Super brought him back up a little bit, but nothing in Z was good. Mm-hmm. Seeing as you haven't seen that, I don't know if you have anything to comment on it, the episode of Bardock I'm talking about.
No, I don't really have anything to say about it except what I thought was that Bardock is a very overrated character.
Yeah, for sure, and I agree with you.
Like, he was one of the first DLC fighters of Dragon Ball FighterZ as well, and he's always kind of been at top tier. You know, he just keeps getting buffed. He's already so strong.
But he's not even a Super Saiyan.
He does have an episode of Bardock Super.
Anyway, my first actual Dragon Ball Z movie is next. Bardock Second Coming. Broly Second Coming. I hate this movie.
Yeah, I have that as my bottom one as well. So
very little is worth even mentioning that is good about it. The only thing I like is Fidel's in it a bit more.
Yeah.
For some reason, she can kind of do something to Broly at part of it, despite the fact that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Trunks and Goten are pretty insufferable in this.
Broly gets peed on.
Krillin gets the Piccolo moment.
Yeah. The movies hate Krillin so much.
I like the design they used for Gohan in this, but it was just because it was the design in the anime at the time.
But also, like, what was Gohan doing?
Wasn't he just training in, like, lava or something?
He was not training. He was flying, and then he was like, that's Broly, and he goes the other direction and starts flying.
Yeah. So, really, and the action I don't even remember being especially good in this either.
Yeah, the only thing I remember 2 bits from this movie.
Oh god, there's another moment I want to see if you bring it up.
I remember Trunks peeing on Broly's face.
I thought it was Goten. Was it Trunks?
I think it was Trunks.
It doesn't matter. They're both
It doesn't
terrible.
matter. It's a child.
Yeah.
And I remember the family Kamehameha. That's it.
Which leads me to the point of Goten, like, wishes on the Dragon Balls that his father could help him. So Goku, like, comes down.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That is bad.
It's really bad. Like, Shenron doesn't even rise up. It's just he, like, for a moment, and Goku's like, all right, guys, all together now. It's like, I mean, it's kind of a cool visual.
Yeah.
And Trunks has a little bit of a Vegeta moment there, where I believe they're doing that family Kamehameha, and you know how like Vegeta throws a blast at Cell when Gohan's doing the beam struggle with him? I believe Trunks does a very similar thing.
Yeah, I don't recall. All I remember is that they do it.
And there's also another 3-person Kamehameha in that movie where, and I forgot about this until I saw a clip of it recently, Goten, Krillin, and Trunks use the Kamehameha wave against Broly.
Was that not in Bio Broly?
I don't think so. I think this one was in Second Coming. Maybe it was in Bio Broly, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all though, because it's the Kamehameha.
I know.
It's the most basic. It's the most basic bitch key attack.
Tien and Piccolo have both used it even.
Yeah, and Cell.
Wow.
It was such a shocker when it happened though, wasn't it? I'm
Right.
gonna say it again. That should have been the Kaioken. That would have been shocking.
Yeah, fair enough. Broly's Second Coming is really bad.
You can cut this out, but I like how in the other one you were all, yeah, I'll give you that for the Boo Saga, and then for me the whole time I was like, everything about Cell sucks. I feel kind of bad about that.
It's fine.
All right. So up next.
Oh, I should say mine because you won't have it on your list at all.
All right.
My next one is Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so.
Yeah, it's really a nothing thing. The only neat thing about it is the villain is a Tuffle.
Yeah.
And you see other movie villains in it. You see Lord Slug, Cooler, Turles, and then Frieza. That's neat.
Yeah.
Trunks has a good design in it. He's got the short hair Super Saiyan, but he's in the Saiyan armor. It's a good looking Super Saiyan. Yeah, it's not good other than that. You want me to say the next one?
Sure, go for it.
Alright, Return of Cooler. Not Cooler's Revenge. Return of Cooler. I hate this movie. I hate almost everything about it. It has some decent action in it. I don't think Cooler should have ever been brought back after being burned into the sun.
Probably not.
How he's brought back is dumb.
It is. Yeah, it probably just shouldn't have been Cooler.
It's just him taking over Namek, and that's it.
Yeah.
The power scaling in this makes no sense, because Vegeta and Goku are struggling to keep up with one Metacooler, and there's an army of them, they're just fighting them.
No, when the army of Coolers come, then there's like, well, alright, and you don't even see it because they just get stomped so bad and taken.
You're right. I guess that's true. But, like, it's just there's, like, not a redeemable part of this movie. Only thing that's redeemable is it's better than Broly's Second Coming.
Yeah. Also,
what high praise.
Also, the instant transmission fight between Goku and Cooler, that's not how instant transmission works. It's not a time stop.
I just don't like this movie.
Like, I like the idea of it. It's like kind of trippy how they're like fighting through interdimensional lanes, I guess.
Yeah. There are one or two cool visuals in here. Like, I like Piccolo flying through the ship and everything.
Yeah.
I like that they're fighting all these robots. It's kind of a cool idea. None of it's just executed well at all.
Also, a big thing against it is the dub in this instance. Not the dub itself, but the music. They went with like a different composer or something, and the music in this movie is nothing.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all, so. What's your next one?
I apologize, Steven. It's Android 13.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, I thought you really liked Android 13.
No, I think it's kind of fun.
Okay.
I don't think it's good.
Android 13 to me just feels like...
I just want to point one more thing out. You don't like the Red Ribbon Army or Dr. Giro.
That's true.
Prediction achieved. Anyway, continue.
Dr. Giro I don't mind so much.
But you don't like anything he stands for. in the terms that like he's built a lot of things you don't like, particularly Cell.
Particularly Cell. I like 17 and 18 and 19.
I like 16.
I do like 16 too. I forgot about him admittedly.
Yeah.
But Android 13, it's the worst it's ever been with regards to just the movie.
It's also basically Cell.
It is, yeah. It's one of them that's basically this arc, but it's basically Cell, and it's also just like, all right, let's go through the motions. You know, this movie just feels like going through the motions, and it is kind of depressing in that way.
It's also a movie that's basically just full of beatdowns. There's not really interesting action in it.
Yeah, and I was praising the designs of the Cell Saga. The design
so weird.
Yeah, the designs here are either boring or outright racist.
I don't understand why he becomes this. Honestly, his like final Android 13 form, Super Android 13 or whatever they call it, basically looks like Broly but blue.
Yeah, with Vegeta hair.
And it is funny when Goku gets punched in the nuts.
Yeah. And we have that old dub from from Super Saiyan Gozar. The Piccolo lays a beating. Boochik ow, boochik ow, boochik ow, boochik ow. Green dick is better than blue dick. Green dick is better than blue dick.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't. Yeah, I will not defend Android 13. It's not good. It is higher on my list, but it's not.
Even like the dub for this one they also seem to just be like, all right, let's try to have a little fun with this one, I guess.
Yeah, I think they knew.
Don't you lecture me, boy, with your $30 haircut.
I also think this is the one with the it's not over until the fish jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it over? Not until the fish jumps. Bloop, it's over.
Yeah. What were they even doing there? Why would Vegeta and Piccolo be hanging out?
It like I said, going through the motions.
Oh man. Anything else to say?
Not really. It's not worth giving much more.
No. Resurrection F is my next one.
Wow. That is low.
It's because it's not good. The only thing I legitimately love about this movie is that the Z Fighters all fight the Frieza Force.
Yeah.
Fantastic action scene. In my opinion, the rest of the movie's bad. There's no stakes. Goku goes down by a laser. I mean, whatever. Vegeta gets gypped big time.
Yeah.
It's resolved by time travel.
Yeah.
And then Goku wins.
Yeah, with Goku going down to like the laser gun, it's like, yeah, there's definitely some problems from that like go into Super, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it because I just find, other than the like action sequence with the Z Fighters and the Frieza Force, which I legitimately think is great. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, there's really nothing else good in that movie for me. What's your next one?
Tree of Might.
Huh. I have a soft spot for Tree of Might, but I will acknowledge it's not very good. Yeah,
maybe if I rewatch it, I'll have a different feel on it. But ultimately, it is just one of those that's like, it's down here because I barely remember it.
Yeah, the thing I like about it is it's very vaguely based on the Saiyan arc, but it's a fairly original thing.
Yeah, they do change it up. And
because essentially the idea of like Raditz and Vegeta being like that evil side of Goku is very literalized in the image of Turles.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I like that Goku actually uses the thing that they make to make themselves stronger to win.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of fun action in the beginning of that one that I'll defend, that has the Z Fighters versus the other, like, they're all using their powerful ki blasts against the Tree of Might to try and take it down.
Then there was also one of the goons looks kind of interesting.
Is it the robot one?
Yeah, the kind of melty looking robot guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not very good, but there's enough in it that I like that it's higher on my list above some of the ones that I find less interesting.
Yeah.
Because at least this one has the benefit of being a more original story.
Yeah.
And that's most of the praise I'll give it. My next one. This one is maybe surprisingly low for you. Fusion Reborn. I don't like Fusion Reborn that much. It's got some fun stuff in it. Some of the visuals are cool. But it ultimately amounts to... This is kind of the Boo Saga.
Yeah.
Which I'm already not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually surprisingly high on my list. But the action for a lot of it is okay. The stuff on Earth is not very good.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's some fun stuff there, but, like, only if you're willing to, like, laugh at a part.
Yeah.
Hitler's in that part.
He sure is.
Pycon, a filler character, is in this movie, and he's reduced to just yelling at Janemba.
Pycon's cool, though.
Pycon is cool. I think he's a little underrated.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't get talked about as much because he is a filler character, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pycon actually ends up in Fighters, you know?
I could see that.
They're certainly running low on ideas of who to go with.
It's also, it just hits the point of, it's resolved with a fusion that I think is like a punch and a sparkle, and it's over.
Yeah, he does some cool kicks.
Okay.
Flippy kicks.
Cool flippy kicks, okay.
Yeah.
You get the same jokes of Veku, and I don't remember if you get the old one in that one, but you just get
Veku.
Whereas at least in the Broly movie, when they do that again, it's fast. They go through it very quickly. It's like, we have to acknowledge this, and then we're gone.
Yeah, I guess, do you really have to acknowledge it?
I don't know. It had been a while. Whereas that one was fresh on everybody's mind.
My god, Veku was very bad in this one, though. Like, where, like, he's just stumbling around, farting in Janemba's face over and over.
It's really bad.
It is.
Some people really defend Fusion Reborn, and I just can't see why. Anyway, what's your next one?
Mine is actually Wrath of the Dragon.
Okay. I get that.
I appreciate that they kind of tried to go for something a little bit different from what they usually do. The problem is that different doesn't mean unique, because this feels a really generic plot.
I guess that's fair.
Also, they did Videl really dirty in this one. Even though they made her the Saiyan woman,
yeah,
there was also them like talking down the guy who was gonna kill himself at the start, and Videl goes like, "Well, why don't you just do it already? I'm bored."
I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen this movie.
It was like, what the fuck, Videl?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's really bad.
There are things I definitely like about that movie, but I understand the criticism of it too.
Yeah. I appreciate that they also tried to go with a giant monster villain. I love giant monsters, but it didn't amount to much. I also actually really like there's a really small scene where when Vegeta does his little thing that doesn't amount to anything, and he gets knocked into like a building, and Hirudegarn does a blast at Vegeta, and then Vegeta looks around, realizes there are other people in the building, and puts all of his energy into making a shield to protect all of them.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice that it's Vegeta that does that.
Mm-hmm. At that point, he's grown a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he's legitimately become one of Earth's defenders at that point, and not just a person who lives on Earth to defeat Goku.
Yeah. So yeah, that gets points from me for that.
Mm-hmm. My next one is Android 13.
All right.
I think actually some of the animation in this one is pretty good.
There's also a lot of really bum animation in this one.
You might be right, but at least that one doesn't stick out to me as much.
It also goes. Android 13 also kind of splits the difference between the pre Frieza arc stuff, where it's like, all right, Spirit Bomb to win this, and then after that, all right, everyone gave your energy to Goku.
It really does split the difference. I was gonna bring that up just now. Was like, he absorbs the Spirit Bomb.
All right,
sure, why not? It's at least kind of different, kinda.
Yeah. Also, the Dragon Ball Z movies tend to like the icy areas, which is neat.
They like the icy areas, and they like Spirit Bombs.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we've already talked about at least one that has a Spirit Bomb in it.
Yeah.
2 now. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Android 13. We've covered it.
Yeah. My next one is Lord Slug.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's another one that's very by the books,
Yeah.
But I'll give it points over Android 13 in that it goes for the King Piccolo, rather than one that's actually from Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, I suppose.
Yeah.
One of my biggest problems with it, though, is like the Lord Slug beatdown on Goku was particularly dull.
Yeah, it doesn't have the charm that like the Frieza beatdown has, because there's no way for Goku to keep up at this point.
Yeah, but like he also but Goku also just kind of stands around as Lord Slug kind of attacks him.
Because he's giant at that point. It's like, what's Goku supposed to do?
Well, like not even when he's giant, but like Goku, like the fight goes like Goku does like one attack and then Slug like knocks him into a building, and Goku goes, "Oh, my techniques aren't working." and then Slug just kind of proceeds to beat on him for a while, and then Goku kind of goes Super Saiyan because it got mentioned in the manga.
You get that proto Super Saiyan.
Yeah, because it got mentioned in the manga, and so like we're gonna make so much money if we make a movie and Goku goes Super Saiyan in it when it's only been mentioned in the manga. We haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah. Honestly, if they had made his hair yellow, they would have gotten it.
Yeah.
His eyes were white too, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of like that proto Super Saiyan design.
Oh yeah.
I like that it's not the full transformation, so it still like leaves something.
Yeah, and I also really like how the aura stays on with everything he punches.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's also the dub soundtrack, which they say the F-bomb.
Yeah. Thanks
to that, and it is kind of just one song after another. And just it's very poorly utilized, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So there's that. Also, the planet gets frozen, and that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, again,
there is
ice stuff.
Yeah, there's interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it is still by the books.
Yeah, you're not wrong. My next one is Bojack Unbound.
Wow, that's pretty low too.
Yeah. Rewatching this one didn't do kindness to it, in my opinion. I love the beginning tournament stuff. The fight between Tien and Trunks is very fun.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of Mr. Satan in there.
Yeah.
This one of the things I kind of put in point of this one is you could technically kind of put it in the canon if you wanted to.
Yeah.
The only thing contradicting it is Trunks.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just his design.
But even time could explain that. Who cares?
Yeah.
The Super Saiyan 2 change for Gohan kind of, again, Cell did it.
Yeah.
We had just seen it, and it does kind of the same thing. The movie is just beatdowns the whole time. The fights aren't that interesting. Like every fight, I think Trunks is the only one who kind of defeats his enemy.
Yeah.
The designs for these space pirates are weird, but again, kind of uninteresting.
I really like Bojack and the girl.
I like the girl's design.
And the little dude with the wires. I'm not fond of.
His power.
I'm not fond of the goatee dude. That's the only design I'm not fond of.
I don't know. Yeah, and Bojack's transformation is weird. Like he just goes green and gets a mullet.
Yeah, the transformation thing is weird. I'll grant that. But I do still really like this movie.
And I feel like there's a lot to like. I think the animation is very solid in this one.
Yeah,
Trunks
and...
gets like beaten into like a flower field or something.
Yeah.
They tried to give like Tien and Yamcha a moment, but they just get beat down. There's no point to them trying.
Yeah, I'll grant that the fighting against the bad guys of the movie is not great, and it's a shame because there is a lot of interest. Like, they set up Trunks against a guy with a sword, but Trunks doesn't have his sword.
It is kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities, but ultimately it is kind of a shame because I feel like there's such a cool story here.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't quite land it.
Yeah. If I hadn't rewatched this one not too long ago, it probably would have been higher on my list.
Yeah.
But I really just feel like rewatching it did it a little bit dirty. You're next.
Dead Zone.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is some cool stuff in there, and there is some interesting ideas too. Like, Kami's actually in this and all,
and he's doing some stuff.
Yeah, but
it's not a lot, but
yeah, but ultimately, I just don't have that much to say about it.
Yeah.
Or much. I don't really give it the brain space.
Yeah, I'll give it a little bit more when I get back up to it.
Alright, then.
My next one is Bio Broly, which is probably up higher than a lot of people would expect. It's about that midpoint for me. It's not good, but it's got fun stuff in it, whereas some of the rest of the stuff I have down here has less fun stuff.
Yeah.
I like the cast of characters they went with.
Yeah.
Trunks and Goten are utilized well in this.
They are.
It's before fusion happens, so there's no insufferable Gotenks.
Yeah.
Krillin and 18 are like the other two fighters in this.
Yeah.
You get some fun Mr. Satan stuff.
Yeah, fun Mr. Satan stuff.
I wish it wasn't Broly. But it's also it's another movie that has continuity with another movie.
Yeah.
Because you see the characters from like the island in Broly's Second Coming saying like, yeah, I brought you some DNA kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Bio Warriors had already been done also. So it's a little weird. Fun action. I feel like they could have done some more, which was part of my problem. Like, it'd probably be up higher if Android 18 did more in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and Krillin for that matter. It's mostly a Goten and Trunks show.
18 always deserves more, honestly.
I think she especially deserved more in this because I think she'd be stronger than Goten and Trunks.
Yeah, probably.
Almost certainly.
Certainly, yeah.
That's basically what I have to say about Bio Broly, though. I figure we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get up to you.
So my next one is Return of Cooler. Unlike you, I do have some big positives for this one.
I'd love to hear them.
For one thing, I just love Namek so much that it is nice to see it again.
I guess. Like, they don't do anything with it.
It's kind of nice that Yajirobe's there, even if it is a weird choice.
I do like the moment where he gets, like, dragged off by the robot.
Yeah.
And he, like, punches it. Like, that is a fun little moment.
Yeah.
It's like, Yajirobe might do something.
I like the character moment at the beginning with Piccolo off in his own room.
I like Piccolo, and that still does nothing for me.
Yeah, well, it's something, you know.
Piccolo has some fun action in this movie, fighting robots, and that's as much as I can say about it.
Yeah. What else? This kind of adds to Cooler's character a little bit for me.
Okay, please explain.
Just in that he has instant transmission, which would be so antithetical to who Frieza is, you know, like not only does he sense, he actually had like the self-awareness to go to someone to try and improve himself.
I guess. I don't think it was that deep.
No, but...
I think it was like, let's also give him instant transmission. But you know, you really like Cooler, so I
really like Cooler.
I understand you're wanting to give him more.
Yeah,
he's done. If you like him in the other one, I feel like he's done real dirty in this.
He is, yeah, pretty much. But but I
just
do
a mess of wires. I hate the climax in this movie.
It's horrible.
It's awful. That's that I didn't even bring it up when I mentioned it, but like, they're getting their Super Saiyan energy drained, and their solution is to give him more Super Saiyan energy, and it works. It just works. And then Goku like throws an energy blast into giant cooler, and he's like, "All right, I explode now."
Yeah.
Oof, man, I don't like this movie.
Yeah, the base of the Big Daddy Star is definitely like, this isn't cooler at this point. It's like, maybe that's why I don't have that as much of a problem with it, is because it's like I can't even recognize that as cooler.
Right.
But I do kind of like the meta coolers. They're neat.
They're neat, but like,
I generally like the fighting in this one. I think it does some
there's some
things.
Cool stuff.
Yeah,
I like
some cool stuff.
I like the turnaround energy blast that
Goku
and Vegeta do.
Goku and Vegeta fighting together is fun.
It's neat. Yeah, you don't see that very often.
And I was making fun of the how them fighting in instant transmission doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I like how it's kind of paid off with like them like fighting around Vegeta as Vegeta's trying to keep up, and then eventually they show up behind him and Vegeta's like, stop it, and he blasts both of them. I like when they finally managed to beat the first cooler, how they they attack both at the same time, and then the turnaround blast, and then Vegeta just going, "Why won't you die?"
I will say, the other robots they're fighting, Krillin again, done real dirty. Be a lot better if he just threw that Destructo Disc.
Yeah.
Like, what better time? It's not even major villains.
Yeah, just give
him that.
Let him finally do that.
Just give him one Destructo Disc. Because he gets one that kind of works in, I guess, see, he has four that make contact in the series that I can think of. One does nothing, and that's against Cell.
Yeah.
Two do a little bit of surface damage, like cutting Nappa's cheek and cutting the tip of Frieza's tail off.
Yeah.
And one cuts Kid Buu in half. Good for him.
Yeah.
Too bad Kid Buu can just entirely put himself back together and regenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Krillin done real dirty.
Yeah. But to be fair, Destructo Disc is a really cool technique, but if he does just kind of win with it, then it's like, oh,
no,
okay,
for sure.
cool.
I understand why they don't, but this would have been a perfect opportunity to just give him one.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's about it. Other than that, I just have one anecdote where a different friend who watched Dragon Ball Z like a couple years ago, the first time, was just like, I just want a dumb fighting anime. And I ended up actually getting into the characters and stuff. So I really liked Dragon Ball Z. And his favorite character is Vegeta. And so it was like, hey, you want to just watch all of the Dragon Ball Z movies together? So we did. And he was kind of bummed through a lot of the starting ones. And then we finally get to Return of Cooler. And the opening plays is like, hey, Vegeta's in the opening. And I decided to mess with him and be like, he sure is in the opening. And it was like, oh, all right. And then when Vegeta comes in, he's like, oh, you bastard.
Man,
so that was...
Was this the first time Vegeta was in one of the movies?
It is. It's the first time he showed up in a movie.
God, too bad he's not in a good one.
Yeah.
The next one is going to be not on your list, so I'll say my next two.
All right.
Son Goku and his friends return.
Yeah, that is a fun one.
It's fun. Like, it's a nothing story, but it's perfectly serviceable in what it is. It's them all having like a reunion.
Yeah. Getting
together. I like the aliens that come down. They're fun. They're like supposedly each as strong as like Frieza's first form.
Yeah.
Like whatever. They fuse, and Trunks and Goten are like, we can do that. And it's one of the few times I'm like, oh, neat.
Goku and Vegeta have some fun banter in this one, where they have the eating contest, and there was also Goku being like, hey, we're at like a fun reunion. Why are you in armor? And Vegeta's like, this is my Saiyan uniform. I'm a Saiyan. This is what I wear. What are you wearing with your dumb orange jumpsuit? And Goku's like, this is my Saiyan uniform.
It's fun to see another Saiyan, even though he's not strong at all. But that's kind of unique and nice, meeting Vegeta's brother, Tarble.
Yeah, even if it also doesn't make sense at all. But
I mean, it doesn't not make sense. Like,
it kind of doesn't make sense how he looks so young.
That's fair. That's true. But maybe he's just weird like that. I don't know. There's one of my favorite standout moments is there's a part where this giant sphere is falling to, and it, like, Android 18 is protecting Krillin or Marin.
Yeah.
And Krillin uses a destructo disc to split it in half and it falls around him, and Android 18 just gives him a look like, yep, that's my husband and I love him. I'm like, it's moments like that. Like, you know what? Even if Krillin doesn't get a lot of moments, like, a little one like that goes a long way.
Yeah.
And he used his destructo disc.
Krillin's a great character.
I love Krillin. I didn't used to, but as time went on, I started to realize, like, why he is the character he is.
Yeah.
And it really works.
Yeah, he
gets done real dirty in the movies.
Yeah, he gets done real dirty in the movies, and I think that really hurts his reputation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also, but it was also like in the series, he's never really the strongest, and even though he does soldier through, he is also generally the one who complains.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's nowhere near the strongest, so everyone's like, Krillin's lame. You know, when you're a kid and all.
Yeah. I just realized I've got an extra one on my list here.
Oh.
But it's fixed now, so I actually only have 20, not 21.
All right.
But my next one is Lord Slug. I have a
Slug?
Man Slug. I have a little bit of a softer spot for this one than you do.
I actually had one last thing to say about Son Goku.
Oh, please go.
This was before like the sort of more plasticky look took over.
Yeah, it had the video game intro look basically. Maybe a little nicer.
I disagree. I think it looked more like the anime where like it was like the two tones.
Yeah.
But it was digital art, and I actually liked that look.
Yeah. It was a nice special that I hope at some point gets translated and given to us, but if not, at least we can find it.
I don't think it will.
It probably won't, but
I also think the Super Saiyan hair looks weird in it, but that's like my only complaint about it.
It's like a very small gripe, yeah, and it's changed throughout the years, so
yeah.
But yeah, Lord Slug is my next one.
Man
Slug. The action in this one saves it for me a lot, and not the Goku fight, but like the rest of the action in this movie. Yeah, I love seeing Piccolo beat down the minions. Gohan fighting the foot soldiers is super fun. You see Chi-Chi fight a couple even.
Yeah.
You never see Chi-Chi do anything.
Yeah, and I suppose there is also the uniqueness of them terra freezing the planet, even though Slug is a Namekian, so that really doesn't make sense.
Weren't they doing that to? Were they doing that to kill the life off, or?
It's because all the soldiers are used to that climate. Remember, because they were talking about how the planet is terra frozen. You can take off your suits now. Yeah. It's like warm tropical weather.
Yeah, I mean, we basically covered most of this one. It's really the action that saves this one for me, and I like the Proto Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
it does. Is this another one that ends with a spirit bomb?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, he goes up above the thing, and then he throws the spirit bomb into Lord Slug, into Man Slug, who then hits the cloud thingy. My last one was Return of Cooler. Now we're at Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I feel like it's actually pretty close to the same spot on my list. I've just got extra.
Yeah. So, Broly. This is
why people liked Broly.
Yeah.
Good design.
His character doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No. And that's the complaint that most people have. Paragus has a cool design too.
Yeah, and he has a motivation.
That makes sense.
Favorite part of the movie is right at the beginning, where at the picnic, Krillin is doing his horrible singing, and then the ship lands, and then he continues singing. And like throughout the whole thing, you still hear Krillin singing in the background as this deadly serious talk is going on.
Yeah.
I just want to be your puppy.
This is another movie that's basically just a bunch of beatdowns until Goku, but it's nice looking beatdowns at least.
Yeah.
Vegeta's done pretty dirty in this one though.
And there is also sort of the like if you know anything about the person who made Broly, he keeps going on and on about how Broly's the coolest and talking about how, oh yeah, every other movie villain, Broly would totally kick his ass. Broly's the sickest dude. like when people call Broly like a Mary Sue, he really pretty much is. He's just the character that dude made to be like, all right, yeah, this is a Super Saiyan. And he's like bigger and stronger than all the other Super Saiyans, and he beats all of them up at the same time. And he's so edgy. But yeah, Broly's character doesn't make sense for me because he ultimately because like when he's not Super Saiyan, he's all but then when he does go into like the full Berserk Super Saiyan, he's like, hello, I am evil. I destroy planets, and that makes me happy.
He hates Goku because he cried next to him.
Yeah.
It would make way more sense if they just made their focus trying to kill Vegeta. Like Paragus raised Broly to like hate Vegeta because he hates Vegeta and King Vegeta. Yeah. You know, kind of like what they did in Super.
Yeah, imagine if someone acted on that, you know?
Yeah. Dragon Ball Super Broly is not on my list anywhere because it's a Dragon Ball Super movie, not a...
Oh, I actually put that one on my list.
Oh, well, it'd be up higher anyway.
Well, I have it on mine, so we can talk about it.
All right. Sounds good. Are you done with Broly for right now?
Yeah.
Because it's still on my list, so we can talk more about it if we need to. Next is Dead Zone for me. It's got a huge plot hole that really drives it down. But...
is it the one that Gohan knocks him into?
Yeah, that's the one. But it's got a lot of good things going for it. I believe this is the one that's got that really weird song in it that I think we had to rewatch because
that was World's Strongest.
Are you? Oh, you're right.
But
I think this one also has a weird song.
Yeah, it does also have a weird song that they just didn't put in the dub.
Yeah. But I love the animation in this one. This is probably some of my favorite era of Dragon Ball animation. That midsection between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. It's so fluid, but has that kind of like sketchy look to it. You see every like flip and backflip, and it's still martial arts at this point. They're not flying around.
Yeah.
Kami does stuff. He shoots laser beams out of his eyes, while Garlic Jr. is doing spins and throwing energy blasts at him. It's fun. I really love the action in this movie, and that's pretty much the... Kind of like Lord Slug, actually. That's kind of the driving force of
Slug.
it. But Dead Zone has a slightly better plot, just with a giant plot hole in it.
I also... going back to Lord Slug, I just have one last thing to say.
Man Slug.
Goku against, like, the minions... He's just Kenshiro in that movie.
Yeah, him against the minions in that one. Honestly, I even forgot he fought them. So, but yeah, that's honestly. I think we covered Dead Zone. So if you want to move on to your next one.
Next one for me is Fusion Reborn. Actually.
Okay. Tell me the reasons that you're wrong
about. Just the stuff with Janemba's powers are really cool.
They're neat. I will give them that. They're very unique.
You know, and just the animation in this one is beautiful. Like
in the Netherworld, they are.
Yeah, in the Netherworld. Understand that all the good things I have to say about this movie are only half of the movie.
Yeah. So Yeah, so you're basically saying like it's up this high because a quarter of the movie I like.
Yeah. Basically, it's got it's a movie with really high highs, but really, really, really,
Really
low
low lows.
And Janemba's Janemba.
Yeah.
I think that his what he is neat. What he does to Otherworld is cool.
Yeah. This I didn't talk much about it. The designs of Janemba are good.
Yeah.
The second one has a very sleek, if you crossed like Super Boo with Cell but gave him a sword kind of thing.
And made him a little more demonic.
Yeah. And the first one it's very interesting. It's this like giant, almost baby type thing.
Yeah.
Which has this offsetting like smile, like
yeah,
unsettling. Yeah.
Also, this is neither here nor there, but I feel like I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that the homoeroticism for Goku and Vegeta in this one.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna bring it up or not, but yeah, there was a famous YouTube video for a while where it was just like their groans and grunts, and it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then I think doesn't it end with like the end of the movie where they're talking about it was good. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I think so. Something like that.
So yeah, people who ship Goku and Vegeta really like this movie, I think.
It's really perfect for them. Yeah.
Oh god. They fuse into Gogeta and then Gogeta goes, because I'm stronger than you.
All right.
Big Bang Kamehameha.
Is that Fusion Reborn?
Yeah.
Yeah. My next one is Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan. Yeah, basically, this is one of the nothing plots that gets kind of saved by the action. It looks nice while they're doing it. There's a really funny moment that I love watching over and over again that Team 4-Star utilized. It's a part where Piccolo and Goku are punching at Broly, and he's just dodging and blocking and things like that.
Yeah.
And Team 4-Star, what they do in that moment is just light slapping noises. I can't watch that movie without thinking of just everybody complains about the Kakarot thing, and that's worse in Second Coming, but it's bad in this one too. Everybody does stuff at least, and everybody gets equally beat down, except Vegeta gets done really dirty because he's not doing anything. And the time he starts to act, he basically gets beat and then does nothing for the rest of the time.
Goku's characterization in this one is kind of weird.
Sure, but I chalk that up to movie Goku. Yeah,
but he's not really movie Goku so much as he keeps flip-flopping between serious and jovial.
I don't know. I feel like they just accentuated that because that's kind of Goku's character, but maybe they just did it inappropriately.
Also, about the dub, I just have a few things about the dub for this one. Broly's dialogue is just awful.
Oh yeah.
And there was one particular moment where Broly is beating on Goku, and Goku goes into his jovial mode in the middle of the fight, and he goes, "Oh yeah, mind giving me a little handicap here?" And is "Oh, he said handicap. I know where Broly's going with this one." And then he goes in a completely different direction. He just goes, "Is that another word for coffin?" It's wow, that's
whoa.
That
what?
Yeah, it's okay, Goku gave you that on a silver platter, and you went and you're not edgy enough. Also, the soundtrack for this one, they went with more licensed music, and they got Pantera, but the rest of the bands are not even C-list. It's I've never heard of any of these bands. These songs are all garbage.
I honestly very rarely remember any music from a Dragon Ball Z movie, so... but yeah, I don't know if there's much more to cover with Broly.
Yeah.
Of the movies that, just are beatdowns and have kind of a nothing plot, I feel like Broly is kind of the best of them.
Is that Legendary Super Saiyan Broly or Super Broly?
Legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
Okay. You know, that's not fair to Super Broly. That definitely doesn't have a nothing plot.
It doesn't have a nothing plot, and I don't think it's straight beatdowns. Like, it kind of goes back and forth. What's next for you, my friend?
Bio Broly.
Bio Broly. That's surprisingly high on your list, in my opinion.
It is, but I actually really do like this one. You know, the whole Bio Warrior thing, it's a bit different.
It is different.
You know, and I appreciate that it's a bit different. I went into this one really worried that the Broly clone was gonna see Goten and go Kakarot, but I was so happy that they didn't, because it's like, okay, yeah, of course he wouldn't, because this is a clone. He's not gonna have any of the memories.
It's so weird that they even went with Broly at all, though.
I feel like it was just sort of like a, well, you know,
Broly's
that
recognizable.
He's recognizable. You know that he's gonna be a strong guy. Right. So, you know, it was enough. I recall actually really liking the action in this one. The choice of cast I really liked.
One thing I didn't mention, I like the setting. It's just in this like lab the whole time.
Yeah,
or at least for a lot of it. In
this lab in the middle of the ocean, and you know, it isn't all just this guy is really strong. There's also the, oh god, this oozes everywhere. We need to stop this.
Yeah, I feel like the designs, the Bio Warriors themselves, just kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
Aren't they just kind of people, but like veiny and a different color?
Yeah, and their eyes are big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think that this one is overly hated.
I do too. But like I said, that's why it's kind of in the middle of my list, not up this high.
You know, yeah, you know, but like but it was on the rewatch that I was like, yeah, this one has a lot of value. I think I like this one.
I actually kind of like the simple plot of it. Of like this guy just, he brings Mr. Satan in to test. Honestly, it's a little bit of a cheapened plot of World's Strongest.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it,
but it
is fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
So yeah, that's mine.
Tree of Might is next on my list.
Oh.
For basically all the reasons I already said. I like that it's a more original plot. I like the action in it. I like the fact that you see all the Z Warriors in it up to that point, except for Piccolo. This one's actually lacking in Piccolo. Better knock it down a few spots, actually. Which is interesting, because Piccolo would have been a somewhat big character at this point. I feel like I always feel like he's missing when I watch this one. Yeah. Maybe that's why it's not up higher on my list. But you see all the techniques, you see the Spirit Bomb, you see the good stuff. I like this one. I don't really have much more to say. We talked about it quite a bit earlier. Next.
Resurrection F.
That's up surprisingly high on your list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been surprisingly low on mine, but...
Well, like you said, everyone kind of gets... all the other characters kind of get their due a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. The Frieza song is like, well, that's a surprise.
I don't feel like they do get their due. Like, they have a great action sequence, but it's ultimately pointless.
Yeah. And ultimately I really like Goku and Vegeta's new outfits.
Yeah. They got good designs.
But yeah, I do like the action in this one, even if it does like take a downturn and all that, and I do have my problems with it being, you know, over animated super action and all the 3D stuff, and
yeah, and 3D stuff looks bad in this one.
Yeah, but this was one of the few times where I actually thought that Super Saiyan Blue looked decent.
Well, it had a high budget behind it.
Yeah.
And the transformation of it with that kind of like blocky aura.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And I liked how it kind of recontextualized Frieza and like, all right, here is a reason to make him relevant again. And you know, and ultimately all your criticisms still stand, and but this one also sort of had the new Dragon Ball behind it,
which I did like, and was why I saw it in theaters, because I was really hyped for this movie after Battle of Gods came out, and then I saw this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that I think highly of Resurrection F. It's that I think more lowly of the ones under it.
I can understand that.
Maybe I should switch Resurrection F with Bio Broly, because I could see myself actually wanting to go back and see Bio Broly again.
Yeah. I mean, I ultimately have a fairly soft spot for most of these. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch, like, some of the specials that are hard to find, like episode of Bardock or Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans, because those are very, like, niche things. But most of these I would, like, if I'm having a Dragon Ball Z marathon, I'm going to probably go through it. Alright, next is, I have Wrath of the Dragon up here, but to be fair, I haven't watched it in a while. I feel like I like this movie overall more as, like, a character movie than I do, like, as an action movie. I like Trunks and Tapion together. Also, for one thing, you're right. Like, the kaiju stuff, the big monster is super neat. They could have done more with it. And ultimately, like, looking at this, I'd probably knock Wrath of the Dragon down a couple spots. Probably at least beneath Dead Zone.
Yeah.
But I just remember really liking this movie, and the climax, that big... You can't deny that the Dragon Fist looks really cool.
It does, yeah. Though Goku doesn't really have any right.
He doesn't really earn it.
No.
But it's super cool.
No, he isn't really in the story at all. It's like, all right, time for my big moment.
Yeah, they probably should have just given the movie to, like, Vegeta's family more than anything.
Yeah.
The Trunks, and maybe add Goten in there. I know Gohan and Videl are in it more toward the beginning, because you've got, like, the superhero versus the giant monster kind of idea. I forgot about the
superhero
thing.
Yeah, the superhero versus the giant walking pants.
Yeah, but like, all that stuff is cool, and I think Tapion's backstory it's not necessarily unique, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
You get the origin of Trunks' sword,
except that it
makes no sense.
No, and also, don't they, like, say in the movie that it's like an unbreakable sword, or something, like it's a magic sword or something, but like Future Trunks does break it on 17.
Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I would probably knock this down a few spots after talking about some of the other ones, but I still liked it.
Now, my next one is Super Broly.
Okay.
Down some pegs because it is like, hey, Dragon Ball minus, you know?
I feel like it, from what I understand, it fixed a couple things with Dragon Ball minus, but yeah, I understand the criticisms.
I mean, the problem still ultimately is that it ruins Goku's backstory and kind of ruins the whole conflict of the Saiyan saga. Because if Goku was sent to Earth to protect him, then that kind of takes away a lot of the irony of Goku being sent here to destroy it, and it makes him better.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much.
It bothers me. So
fair enough.
Other than that, it gave me a lot of callbacks to the Frieza stuff, and
which is all very good. It's fun to see, like, the Ginyu Force do their little, like, poses again, just even if it's very brief.
Yeah. But I got, like, some more of that Frieza Saga world building that I really liked. That was one of my favorite aspects of that saga, and we get more world building.
I like what they do with the Saiyans in this overall.
Yeah.
I like that not every Saiyan is a warrior. Some of them are just pilots and have a low power level. Some of them have never transformed before. Some of them have, like, snipers up in a tower aimed on Frieza.
Yeah, and we don't get... we do see... I guess King Vegeta is maybe canon now?
Was he not?
No, he only ever showed up in filler.
Interesting. Yeah,
so...
Then he would be canon. This movie's, at least at the moment, considered canon.
Yeah, until Super reanimates it. if it does indeed come back.
Yeah, I hope it does. The Moro stuff is interesting for the most part.
Yeah.
It's taking a turn toward some Cell territory, but overall, it's been very interesting.
This movie does also feel very disjointed. Like you have all you have like Broly's backstory and all that stuff, and like this is great. I love this. And then you get to Goku and Vegeta, and in true Dragon Ball Super fashion, when Goku and Vegeta show up, I'm like,
you brought up a good criticism that Super Goku, like Dragon Ball Super Goku, is a little too childish, and like his characterization doesn't fit super well a lot of the time, especially compared to like his growth throughout Z.
Yeah.
Vegeta doesn't bother me in this movie at all.
No, Vegeta isn't so bad, but ultimately, I really like Broly's new characterization. I really like Chi-Lai.
Chi-Lai's a super fun character.
Yeah,
she was like a fan favorite out of that movie.
Oh yeah,
they do a little bit of fan servicey stuff with her, but it's at least not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I really like what they did with Paragus. I like that with like the Broly section of the movie, they just go full space opera with it. That's kind of where I would have kind of liked it to have kept going after Frieza. And I guess Cooler kind of adds to that.
Yeah.
Because he is someone who I could see being stronger than Frieza, how they handle him in his movie without it cheapening Frieza. But that's getting ahead of myself. Ultimately the fighting just goes on and on and on in this one, it feels like, and as a personal thing, I just don't like the art style of this movie. I think it's kind of ugly.
Oh, I loved a lot of this movie's art style. Like when Vegeta goes Super Saiyan God, the red version of it.
Yeah.
I think his design is perfect.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I'm also like, why would you go Super Saiyan God? Why not just skip to blue?
Well, because Super Saiyan God has more mobility. I think it uses less power. And at that point, like, he's basically taking the next... And there's that Saiyan pride, of course. Yeah. Like, that doesn't seem out of character to me.
This movie is actually kind of a microcosm of Dragon Ball Super for me. Where there's like, I try not to let power scaling bother me, but it's really bothering me here. How Broly is keeping up with them, and he is just base form. But pretty much all of the new characters introduced, I really like. But I don't really. But Goku and Vegeta are just kind of a constant, and they've gotten boring, if not outright annoying.
I could see that, but I really just love the fluidity of the art in this one. I know you said you've seen it better in other places, but I don't think that should be a point against this. I really like Goku's technique where he just freezes Broly essentially.
Yeah.
Like Goku, the person who's usually trying to fight, realizes that Broly's not really in this for the right reasons and is trying to stop the fight.
Yeah.
Which I admire.
But since it is kind of Super Goku, it almost feels out of character.
Right, but I really think this one tried to be a little more Z.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of Super still in this. One of my favorite moments is Frieza trying to figure out how to get Broly to the next step, and Paragus is like, I don't think we can. I think he's peaked. I'm not so sure about that. And he shoots Paragus straight through the chest like, oh no, Broly, look!
Yeah, it's good.
And then Vegeta and Goku realize that they're not winning this fight. So they fly over Frieza and say, good luck, Frieza, have fun! And instant transmission over to Piccolo. And Frieza just gets beat down. And then he turns gold and says, now you have to deal with this, and then gets beat down. The art style gets super weird as soon as Gogeta gets in there.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but they go into this weird other dimension for a minute.
Yeah.
Like they've broken reality with their power levels. And I'm like, okay, sure. But I think it's cool. I think it was a good way to bring a good backstory to Broly and actual something good out of Gogeta versus punch punch kick Sparkles or whatever we got in GT.
Yeah. Also, going back to what I think I worded it poorly. It's not with the fluid style. It's not that I've seen it done better in other places. It's that I think this did it poorly and it was distracting.
I don't know. I think maybe parts of it are, but like the moment where Goku's doing like the hopping down and getting ready to fight and goes into his fighting stance, I think that's animated beautifully.
Yeah.
And things like that. I love the part where Vegeta and Broly first start the fight and they're like, he's punching Vegeta like through the ice.
Yeah.
And Vegeta gets his that is straight up a Z smirk. You can tell the art style went for Dragon Ball Z in that moment, and he's like flashing, like he's going into Super Saiyan and things like that. I actually really like the way Super Saiyan looks in this movie.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of the movie has this kind of like green hue.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's kind of associated with Broly for some reason. I think it's just because his energy beams have that like effect.
Yeah. I like the touch of what they did of what even is the deal with Broly's kind of green hair thing, and the fact their hair kind of goes green for a moment as they're becoming Super Saiyan, and it's like, okay, that's actually a really cool way to explain it and kind of leave it up to the audience to put the pieces together rather than just outright trying to explain it, because
I feel like this movie also tried to this is just a theory, but also tried to introduce the idea of Super Saiyan 4 into Super's world, because Broly's whole initial transformation is basically tapping into the Uzaro.
Yeah, and I didn't catch on to that when I watched it, but when it was sort of explained to me, I was like, yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see if they will ever do anything with that, or if it was just a way of explaining Broly's power or what they were doing. But it's a nice touch into their Saiyan biology that is really unexplored in the canon of Dragon Ball Z.
Also, Toriyama has a thing for kind of finding a template and sticking to it, and this is the second time that Toriyama has done the weird guy, old guy, girl trio.
Fair enough. I also like the older guy.
That's not a criticism or anything.
It's just an observation.
Yeah, it's just an observation.
I think that guy's name is. It has something to do with Lemon. I don't think his name is Lemon, but it's like Lemon or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but
he's a fun character though.
Yeah, but I like the trio.
Yeah, I hope that they stay canon and they do something with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they kind of did a spin-off series for them.
Anything, they're fun characters. Are we good with Broly?
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
I think so too. I think we both got kind of what we wanted to talk about out of there. I guess that makes it. You can go again, because there have been a few that I've topped, put 2 down.
I've got and I'm not sure. I feel like this one might actually go down 1 or 2, but Bojack Unbound.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the tournament stuff at the start.
It's great. That's the best part of the movie.
Absolutely. And
they sure get it out of the way fast.
Yeah, unfortunately. I really like the different weird environments that they fight in.
Yep.
After that, like the Victorian city, the meadow, the weird toy place. And I really like Bojack's backstory, and I really like his design. But he felt constrained by the runtime and the fact that they also wanted to do the tournament thing.
Yeah.
This would have been a cool full arc, I think.
Probably. It would have been given something for Gohan to do.
Yeah. Alright, your next thing?
All right, my next one is Cooler's Revenge.
Hmm.
I do really like this movie. I don't like it as much as you do. It is one of the most serviceable plots, which is impressive because it is basically just the Frieza arc condensed down. There's not a lot more to it. You even get your Ginyu Force in there. That being said, again, great Piccolo action in this one.
Yeah.
And that's a big selling point for me on a Dragon Ball movie. Especially his fight with Salza.
Yeah.
Not to say that the bit right before that isn't good either, but like that fight with Salza, like weaving through the trees and everything, that's something you don't see in Dragon Ball. Him, like the energy blade, might see something similar to that, but again, like it's just really cool. Cooler's design is good, especially when he gets into the fourth form.
Yeah.
His form before that is, I think I honestly like Frieza's design a little better. It looks like he's wearing a chunky helmet, kind of. And I don't know, it's a personal preference. There's nothing wrong with it. I just like Frieza's design on that a little better. But as soon as he gets into the like final form, it's super cool. And it's got good action in it. It's got a bit of that Goku trying to keep up with this form. And the Super Saiyan transformation was still fresh at that point, and it looks really cool in this one. It's got a very shimmery effect, and plus the diving through the Kamea wave and punching Goku. It's really cool. But that's honestly about it. I don't really have many negatives about it. Just my biggest negative is it's Frieza again.
Yeah, it is another one that's bit more kind of by the number.
It does it better than the rest of them though. Also, this is the one that I really realized, for whatever reason, Dragon Ball likes their nature in their movies.
Yeah.
This is the one that proved it.
Probably because they used it to a more interesting thing in this one. Rather than just, oh no, the nature.
I mean, it's kind of that.
It is that, but it actually leads to something kind of unique.
But there's just a part where they're in the cave and he's just surrounded by animals. He's just like, all right, Snow White, what's up?
You know what I just realized?
What did you just realize?
Broly's Second Coming. That's a really weird title because it makes him sound like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really weird. But I guess they were like, we've already used Revenge, we've already used Return.
I've got 3 left, by the way.
I have 4 left, and 2 of mine aren't on your list. So I guess maybe I'll hit those 2 really quick. Or no, hit yours. I'll hit those 2. Because if you got 3, the 2 that are on my list won't be on yours, so I'll get those out of the way, and then we'll talk about our top 2.
All right, sounds good. My number 3 is World's Strongest.
You fool. Fair enough.
Just impeccable action. It doesn't waste time getting into it, which is a strength here, where it was a weakness in Super 13, because they were just kind of like, all right, boom, we're in it. But Super 13 was like, all right, I guess we have to get through shopping, I guess.
You're right.
I don't really know what else to say about World's Strongest.
We'll probably talk about it a little bit more.
You're probably going to talk about it a little bit more. Like how I'm probably going to talk about Cooler a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, that's up there for you.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's your number 2.
Maybe.
Did it beat out Battle of Gods for you?
Maybe.
So my next 2 are specials. Number 4 is Bardock, Father of Goku. There's some fun action in this movie.
Yeah.
They utilize some really good things. Some things that you don't even think about. Like there's a part when Bardock is fighting these foot soldiers, and there's like this smoke, and they're all like, there he is, and they blast it, and it's Bardock basically set him up there to get blasted. This was kind of like the Saiyan lore you got for a long time.
Yeah.
This was your first look at like what any of this stuff looks like, and a lot of it stuck for a long time, basically until Super. It's good. I don't really know what else to say about it. Every time I watch it, like I'm entertained the whole way through. It's probably helpful that it's 45 minutes long at most, because it's a TV special. It's not a movie.
So a YouTube channel, Mr. Fusion, I think that's how you pronounce it. I was kind of middling on this particular special before, but the video he did on it is like really turned me around on it, because he was talking about how Bardock is like one of the, it kind of walked a tightrope of like you can't make him too important,
right?
Because otherwise it like shrinks the universe and everything, you know, like Goku's father just also happened to be a really important guy.
He doesn't amount to anything like too important. He just kind of figures things out and then tries to stop Frieza. But it amounts to nothing.
Yeah, it amounts to nothing, and that's ultimately what he liked so much about it, and like kind of convinced me on is like, it's like this is a tragedy in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's basically just you're reading like a footnote in history.
Yeah.
That Frieza would like to erase.
Yeah. So Frieza Saga good for the world building and all that.
Because you even see, I believe this was made after, but there's a part in the Frieza Saga that you see a flashback to Frieza doing his Death Ball thing, and you see Bardock in the lineup. It makes it look like all those people are against Frieza. Whereas you find out later, basically, Bardock is just plowing through Frieza soldiers.
Yeah.
And not like he's plowing through them that he's way stronger than them or anything. He's plowing through them like they don't have time to react to him.
Yeah.
Because he's Frieza!
Yeah, and they're all just kind of standing around because, oh god, Frieza came out. And like frozen in fear.
And they call back to this in Cooler.
Yeah.
At least that particular moment. I feel like they called back to it in another thing too, but I can't remember what. Maybe I'm just thinking of the Frieza Saga.
But yeah, this special was so well received that Toriyama actually put Bardock in the manga.
Unfortunately, he then changed the canon later, but
yeah.
I like the introduction of Gine, even if it doesn't amount to a whole lot. I like her design. I would have liked to have seen more. I don't know.
Yeah.
My next one is History of Trunks. Again, it's kind of just another like tragic story. It's one of those like, you know, nothing can happen because basically you know Gohan dies, you know everybody's dead.
Yeah.
It's just telling what happened and like how Trunks first went Super Saiyan, which is a great Super Saiyan transformation.
Yeah, the whole prequel thing doesn't really bother me because like a good prequel should just add some emotional depth.
Yeah, and I think it does. I do believe this is part of why, not the whole reason, but it's part of why Trunks is so popular.
Yeah, and this is also the only time we really get to see 17 and 18 being actual villains.
Gohan has a really good design in this.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite design of Gohan, at least in Super Saiyan. I like that short hair look. I like the...
Yeah.
I really like the fight where he's got one arm and he's just doing everything he can to try and stand up against them.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's a really fun but tragic story. And then, so, do I say the next one or do you say the next one?
Up to you.
I don't know. My next one is Battle of Gods. There was such a... Basically, Dragon Ball Z was over.
Yeah.
Like, no one expected anything, and out of the blue, I remember being on my computer one day and just, like, looking at Dragon Ball Z, and I saw that there was a new movie, and I'm like, no, there's not. And I found it. This is one of the few times I'll, like, fully admit, like, I found a pirated copy of it on YouTube, because how else was I going to watch it at the time? There was no way. And realized that they did a fantastic job with it.
Yeah.
I thought the design of Beerus was weird at first, but I think it really fits. This god of destruction being based on an Egyptian... Basically what the Egyptians worship that Sphinx cat.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd that it's a Sphinx cat and not like a jackal or something, but it's fine. Like, it doesn't really bother me.
But Beerus was also based on Toriyama's cat, so...
Okay. Fair enough. The action in this is beautiful. Vegeta has a really good moment in it. It's kind of a funny line, the "not my Bulma."
Yeah.
But, like, when he, like, goes to Super Saiyan at that moment and actually, like, punches Beerus, and it's, like, the first time... Because you see Goku get beat down earlier in it. He goes Super Saiyan 3, and Beerus just, like, goes, like...
Yeah.
And just annihilates Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which at that point, like, you knew that was a powerful... It's one of the last times you really see it, too.
Yeah.
I love the design of Super Saiyan God in this movie. The, like, trimmed down, like, elegant look.
Yeah.
I like the look of that, like, flowy red in Goku's hair. Everybody at first was comparing it to Kaioken, but it really doesn't look like Kaioken. The only reason people were comparing it to that is that it's red.
Yeah.
I like the eyes. There's a funny line in the dub in particular.
Red.
Yeah, red. I can't remember what it sounds like in Japanese, but you know that, like, they were constricted by the lip flaps and the animation of it, but it's when they're, like, in the cave. And
I will not let you destroy my world!
Yeah, and he's, like, doing the, like...
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how else they would have done it because they were kind of constricted by the animation of it all.
Yeah.
But only thing that I feel like drags this down just below my number one is a lot of the humor in this really works, but there's a few moments that are just like, well, that's weird. It's a little past quirky Dragon Ball, and it's like falls flat.
Yeah.
And it's really, I really liked the like how Super Saiyan God is achieved, and it's a small thing, but like Videl revealing that she's pregnant, everybody goes like, oh, that's Pan. like even if you're just considering like the end of Dragon Ball Z, that little girl Pan that you see at the very end, not like discluding GT, like Pan was a popular character.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little nod, and at this point again, you're like not sure anything else Dragon Ball is gonna come out ever again.
Yeah.
So it was just a nice return to form, excellently executed in my opinion, and obviously yours if it's in your top two.
Yeah, this is also my number 2. So
okay. Okay, well, what do you like about it that makes Cooler better than it?
Hey, you have World's Strongest above this, so...
I do, but... this and World's Strongest share something in common. They're completely unique stories. And not just Frieza again.
Alright, well, I mean, for once... as you said, oh, hey, it's new Dragon Ball. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. And, I absolutely love Beerus. He instantly became one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters.
Whis is also very good.
Whis too, of course. I also liked the scene of when Shenron gets summoned and you actually get reactions from everyone else. And that one police officer is just like, Capsule Corp's up to some weird shit again.
I think they had a line of that in the series as well. I think when they summon Purunga or something, they look over there and like, that's the Brief's house. Oh, carry on. But Shenron's reaction to Beerus is like, oh, Beerus, how are you, my lord? Like,
yeah.
You see like a sweat bead on Beerus or on Shenron's face, where even though Shenron is not an overly strong being in this universe anymore, basically since King Piccolo for that matter, it's still interesting seeing this confident wish dragon look at something and be like, oh no, please ask away. Let me tell you about the Super Saiyan God.
I'm not as fond of Super Saiyan God and its design and all that.
I really like it. I can understand the criticism of Blue because it's basically regular Super Saiyan, but
also it's called Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
Yeah, no, they ended that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe they should have just called this one Saiyan God. I don't know.
I think introducing the blue one might have been a mistake. or they should have never been able to tap into red again.
Yeah.
It should have been one or the other, because blue felt like red was something achieved when power was poured into you.
Yeah.
Like, that was how the Super Saiyan God was achieved. But, like, blue was their own abilities, tapping into God Ki.
Yeah.
So that made sense that it was different than the red. But eventually, Goku just goes into the red and blue anyway. I'm like, well, I don't really understand that, but maybe they just wanted both.
Yeah, it's all very unclear.
Yeah. And I guess that's fine, but it's odd.
Not super into the action in this one. Like, it's still good and all, but
it depends on what part of it, in my opinion. I really love when they're in the Earth's orbit. It's not really actiony at that point, but it's just really good scenes up there.
Yeah, and also ultimately, Super Saiyan Blue feels kind of pointless because because in this movie, after Goku falls out of Super Saiyan God, then he just goes back to regular Super Saiyan, but he's still keeping up.
Yeah, because
that does get retconned with the show. So
he like absorbed some of the God Ki, and I think they say that it's temporary. I think they even say in the movie that it was a temporary. He still had that God Ki in him.
It's all very weird and unclear and confusing. Yeah. I do also have problems with the movie. One of the biggest being, oh yeah, I ordered Frieza to destroy the Saiyans.
Yeah, I don't like that retcon.
Yeah, that's a really bad retcon.
Which I feel like they kind of retconned again.
Yeah, they maybe
like not entirely, but Frieza.
They just haven't brought it up.
Yeah, Frieza, when you see like in the Broly movie, seems to have his own motivations of wanting to, like, they don't really say, but they seem to have his own motivations. I feel like it seemed like Frieza had his intention to destroy the planet, and it was almost like Beerus gave him the go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, this one also does get pushed down a little bit just by knowing, but like actually having watched Super and seeing the direction that goes. So
I consider these two movies separate from the Super arcs. They are obviously the same story, but like I don't know. I consider them separate entities.
Yeah. But yeah. Ultimately, that's it. Love Beerus and all that, but there is a lot of really fun stuff in the movie, but the action didn't really do much for me. But
yeah, I can see that. It's a different style of action.
Yeah.
It's definitely on a more grand scale. Well, it feels like it is. It's really not. But
it's
the way they're flying over the city and everything feels huge.
Yeah.
They utilize the difference in that animation over the CGI like city well in this, where the problem in the Frieza movie Resurrection F, the 3D animation is just ugly and super obvious. In Broly, it's slightly less obvious. There are a few shots it's hard to tell which one they're doing, but like there's one they freeze on where they're both like Vegeta's doing the Gallic Gun and Goku's doing the command wave, and they like circle around it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the ugliest shot in the movie, despite how... Yeah. And they're really focusing on it. But I think the way they use it in this is effective. But yeah.
So yeah.
I'll go first.
All right.
Because I really want to just... you to end on this note of saying that the Cooler movie is the best movie. World's Strongest, to me, is just the epitome of what I love about Dragon Ball Z. It is a unique villain. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else like it. I guess you could kind of compare it to Gero slightly, but it really doesn't feel like that. It doesn't... I love that they're looking for the World's Strongest, and they go based off of basically old tournament records, and they decide Master Roshi is the world's strongest fighter still. You get that final fight that Master Roshi really ever does in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
and it is short, but it's beautiful.
It is.
He's slipping around. He's tripping the enemies. He's the only thing. I wish it was slightly longer, but it's so effective because you see that Master Roshi was a very skilled fighter. This was before a lot of people had seen Dragon Ball, so you only have a little bit of Roshi to go on at this point. And what you see is this hunched over old man.
Yeah.
And he just does all these cool martial, and it's legitimate martial arts action until he blasts that Kamea wave, and it hits that Marshmallow Man and flings back at him, and he's defeated. And it's sad, but I feel like it's a fitting way to finish Roshi.
Yeah.
I actually had a Master Roshi action figure gifted to me one year. I didn't care anything about Master Roshi, but it was in that World's Strongest outfit, that black outfit with the with the white in the middle.
It's very cool.
This movie also has, like, at the beginning you see Piccolo essentially get captured in this, again, the icy region.
Yeah.
By what I think is the weakest part of this movie is these little bio warriors are basically Cybermen.
Yeah.
I don't know why they went with just Cybermen but blue and a mask, but
I actually think that that those small changes, I really like the design.
I don't know. It's I feel like it's just kind of like the weakest part of this movie in my opinion, and it's not enough to bring this out of number 1 by any means.
Yeah.
They put this like weird veiny gold brain thing on Piccolo, so we managed to later get a great fight between, it's again pretty short, but it's also like the last fight between Piccolo and Goku.
Yeah.
Which is a significant thing. You see really good imagery of Goku and Gohan and Krillin all in this icy fortress. They use Kaioken beautifully in this movie.
Yeah.
When Goku's fighting the Bio Warriors, he gets frozen, and the Gohan and Krillin come in and they get in their action poses. The weird old man has his like robot, like he's a robot. He's got his like gun arm.
Yeah, it's just a minigun.
Just a minigun arm. Krillin doesn't feel like he gets super Krillin in this movie. Except in the final, like when they're all going up to fight Weelo, he gets knocked down without doing anything.
Yeah.
There's the master student Kamehameha wave in this.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Weelo's voice. Die.
Yeah, it's the same dude as Optimus Prime, isn't it?
I think it might be. Really, just everything. I think the pacing in this movie is very good.
Hey, they fought against Michael Bay movie Optimus Prime,
and there is a spirit bomb in this movie, but it doesn't feel tropey. Partially because it's so early.
Yeah, it's so early, but also it's your favorite movie, so.
I mean, sure.
But maybe it's just how it's executed a bit more interesting.
I think it is, because I think Weelo also blasts down, like an energy blast, and the spirit bomb is, like, fighting against it, which you don't really ever see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, this is that, again, I really like that slick Z martial arts style.
Yeah.
We agreed at one point that World's Strongest has probably the best Dragon Ball-esque to Z action.
Yeah.
Where Cooler might have the best. You definitely think this, and I can at least see your point and maybe agree if I like looked through them all. But you said Cooler has like the best like later Z, like Frieza onward Z action, and I would probably agree with you. Again, I'd have to like look at the other movies again, but
yeah. Also, the Bio Warriors had interesting powers and
interesting designs.
Yeah, and that's not something that comes up a lot in Z.
Yeah, they're memorable minions, where usually you can remember a couple of them, but not all of them. There's always, and it's usually like there's the tough one, the one with the creepy powers, and the one that gets, and the pretty one.
Yeah.
This one didn't have like. They were all the ones with the freaky powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's...
And a lot of Kaioken in this one. And I love me the Kaioken.
Really good use of the Kamehameha wave.
Yeah.
Like, especially that student master. Like, Roshi going let's do it, boys, or whatever he says, and they all blast. It's just...
No, he calls out, Kamehameha!
Oh, that's right. That is what he says.
Which is funny because, it's... Because he says the Hawaiian one instead of the Japanese one.
I feel like he was not, chanting it so much as, let's do the move kind of thing. Together. Kamehameha!
Yeah.
Because it is called the Kamehameha wave.
That's only in the dub.
Is it?
Yeah, that is actually redundant. Because ha means wave.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because I guess it sounds like the Hawaiian king, but Kamehameha literally means turtle destruction wave.
Oh. Fun fact.
Yeah. Kame turtle, Hame destruction, ha wave.
Fascinating.
Roshi isn't actually his name in Japanese.
What is it?
It's just Turtle Hermit.
Ah, okay.
Muten Roshi is just something you call venerated martial arts masters.
Fair enough.
But of course, it's the one you've all been waiting for. My number one. So let's talk about Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes, please.
Alright, so Cooler's Revenge, of course. Y'all were talking about Dragon Ball Z as kids, and, I played with you, but I didn't really understand it. And so, that pack of, Lord Slug, Cooler's Revenge, and Return of Cooler, Mom got for me, and that was my first exposure to Dragon Ball Z. And I thought, this Cooler guy looks the coolest, so I'm gonna put this one in first. And, the movie's beautiful.
It is.
Cooler is cool.
Yeah.
This was one that, yes, it is the Frieza Saga again, but it also kind of tried to build on the Frieza Saga a little bit.
A little bit.
It isn't just kind of ignoring the Frieza Saga and being like, oh, this is Lord Slug. He's totally different.
This is true.
This is explicitly Frieza's brother. I'll give shit to other things for pulling out this is the bigger, badder brother of the bad guy. But Cooler kind of isn't badder than Frieza,
No, not really.
Yeah, which strangely is a compliment from me. I kind of like that he isn't as relentlessly evil. He he's a bit softer with his men, and he is a bit more like, Frieza totally kicked my butt a lot, but I finally transformed to beat him, but you got him before me.
He is much more ruthless with his enemies as well.
Yeah.
He's ready to just kill them.
He's efficient.
Yeah. He's not trying to toy with anybody. He's like, we got him. Did you? Until you bring me the body, I don't believe you.
Yeah. The Salza's squad went in to try and attack, but Cooler was like, well, I'm not doing anything. Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well just do it myself. And, he doesn't mess around. He just does the eye lasers. He has some good lines, too, I think. Goku going, go on, this isn't a safe place for you right now. And Cooler just says, this isn't a safe place for anyone right now. and that's when he, does the eye lasers. And
Goku goes down in flames.
Yeah, Cooler is legitimately... threatening, which I cannot really say for a lot of the other Z movie villains.
Yeah.
And then there's the other line being when he's holding Piccolo and Salza's saying, "You are at Lord Cooler's mercy now," and he just drops him and says, "What mercy?" Mm-hmm. Cooler feels the most the most threatening, I guess, as I've already said. But also, of course, this was my first exposure to Z. Mm-hmm. It's got really, really tight action. I really like how the beams look in this one.
It's actually interesting. I didn't think about it, but World's Strongest was actually one of my very early. I think it was I watched the Garlic Jr. Saga, and then I watched Dead Zone and this. and then I got into Z. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't my first exposure, but it was really early.
Yeah, and Icarus is in this one too, and I like Icarus.
Everybody likes Icarus.
And you know, as you said, Cooler's design is really good and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've already said a lot that I really like the action in this one.
Yeah, the action is good. You're right. The beams look good. Super Saiyan looks good.
Yeah,
the Death Ball looks good.
Cooler isn't just like beating on Goku with like punch. He's like really styling on Goku. You know, he's like where he comes at him from the side with the knee, but the knee just keeps on going until he crashes into a mountain. And like as he's held up against the mountain by the knee, he jackhammer fist down. And then he like punches him into the side of a cliff and like pushes him in, and then he like drags him along and then pushes him down and it parts the earth, or like punches him down into the ocean so hard that it parts the whole sea, and it's awesome.
It is really good. I love the bit where he's like by the waterfall and transforming.
Yeah, the transformation sequence is really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
There's some underwater fighting. I think that the soundtrack was the soundtrack was actually used pretty well in this one.
I think it's about the only time that kind of like new metal, maybe not new metal, but like that.
It was mostly new metal.
Yeah, but that kind of metal like fits the tone of the movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit super well in Lord Slug.
Yeah, they avoided the stuff that's too edgy.
It was a lot of drowning pool, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of drowning pool and some Disturbed. But they did the more more up-tempo songs. Mm-hmm. So and ultimately, yeah, I really like Cooler's character, but that's mostly just like extrapolating more in my head of like, oh man, these elements of Cooler that are kind of there, if I kind of like extrapolated them and kind of gave Cooler my own backstory. So like, admittedly, a lot of this is just my own
headcanon.
Yeah, a lot of my own headcanon. You know, and like I said from Return of Cooler, how he has instant transmission. I think that's a cool thing. So I kind of see him as a little more humble than Frieza because he's sort of the power level wise runt of the family. So, you know, he never really got much love from Cold or his brother.
Headcanon.
Yeah, headcanon. Yeah, this is all headcanon, but it really makes me like him a lot. I think that they managed to do the brother of the villain and do it somewhat interestingly.
Yeah. I mean, it's in my top 5. I might, I think it's where I would want it based on like where my specials are and everything.
But yeah, this is also kind of just what I think. Dragon Ball is special to me, and this is the thing that got me into it. Oh, and one last thing, we don't get a lot of Kaioken in this one, but the aura for Kaioken in this movie looks so erratic. It's really cool.
I'll have to pay more attention the next time I watch it. But yeah, that's the Dragon Ball movies, not counting Evolution, which, yeah, might be under episode of Bardock. But that's a Dragon Ball movie, not a Dragon Ball Z movie. We only talked about the Z movies and Super. Because there are 4 Dragon Ball movies that you haven't seen.
I haven't seen them.
And one that you unfortunately have. Evolution.
I haven't seen Evolution.
You haven't seen
actually.
Evolution?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. I gave it the benefit of the doubt, but no, it's bad.
Yeah. I'm not interested in ever seeing it.
Well, maybe we will for this show someday.
Fun.
Well, I think that's a pretty clean burning Heffel. I'll tell you what.
Gohan, do your studies. As supposed to be
Peggy and Chi-Chi?
Yeah, Peggy Chi-Chi.
Peachy.
I